My name is TJ, and for the last couple weeks, I've been looking for new games to play. I found a couple games of the movement genre, and if you're interested in anything like that, then you're gonna want to stick around. I got two games today that are all about movement. One with slick parkour combat, and the other with some more deep exploration mechanics. The best part? No guns. Just pure movement, parkour, and adrenaline-fueled gameplay. So let's dive into Shady Knight and Lorn's Lure. First up, we have Shady Knight. This game is a mix of first-person parkour and melee combat. It also has bow and arrow, so technically it could be considered a movement shooter, but no guns. Shady Knight is all about mastering fluid movement. You're going to be pulling off acrobatic tricks, like sliding and wall kicking, while taking down enemies with the sword or arrows. The coolest part is that you can chain these moves together, so you're not just running and slashing constantly, you're using the environment creatively to knock enemies around, whether it's by kicking them into barrels or maybe jumping off their heads for a critical stun hit. The movement system in Shady Knights feels really rewarding. If you've played anything like Titanfall, you're gonna feel right at home. You can jump off walls to get height advantages, slide to dodge attacks, you can kick enemies to the ground, all while looking like a total badass. It kind of feels like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic meets Titanfall 2 meets something else. But it's all set in like a medieval fantasy world. Combat flows seamlessly with movement, so it feels less like a typical hack and slash and more like a dance where your skills determine how efficiently you can clear each tower full of enemies. At the end of the stage, you get a rating, and I think that's something that really cranks up the replayability. What keeps things engaging is the style ranking system. So the game rewards you for how creatively you take down enemies, and that pushes you to think about how you can combine movement with combat. No two encounters feel the same because of the different ways you can interact with the environment, so I'd say this game is like an 8 out of 10 right now. If you're looking for fast-paced parkour-heavy action with melee combat, Shady Knight delivers on that. It's challenging, stylish, rewarding, and a great fit for anyone who loves mastering movement mechanics. Next game, to take a little break from all the crazy madness, let's talk about Lorn's Lure. Unlike Shady Knight, this one doesn't focus on combat at all. Instead, it's a first-person exploration game with an emphasis on platforming. The game has this, eerie, atmospheric vibe where you explore these massive industrial towers and alien landscapes. Also, there's an owl. You're given climbing axes and other tools to help you navigate through these complex vertical environments. The main appeal of Lorn's Lure is its movement system. You're constantly climbing, jumping, and figuring out how to traverse these massive environments. It's a game that rewards exploration and precision, and the platforming is challenging but satisfying. You're gonna scale high walls, jump between precarious ledges, and explore mysterious areas that feel abandoned and forgotten in time. The vibe in Lorn's Lure is more slower paced compared to Shady Knight. But that doesn't mean it's any less intense. The speedrunning community is gonna have a ball with this one. Instead of battling enemies, you're constantly battling the environment. Every jump, every climb feels like it could be your last if you don't plan your path carefully. A single slip could send you down to your death. It's a different kind of tension, but one that keeps you on your toes the entire time. I also really appreciate the level design. At a certain point, I thought this was kind of like a horror game, because the world feels like it has its own story, but it's not really spelled out for you. You're left to piece things together as you explore, and that sense of mystery adds to the overall atmosphere of the game for sure. If you're a fan of platformers and you enjoy games where movement is key, then Lorn's Lure is definitely worth checking out. And so there you have it, 2 first-person movement games that are all about parkour. One is more combat-oriented and the other is more exploration-oriented. Whether you're in the mood to fight enemies with stylish parkour, or maybe you just want to explore massive alien structures, these games will scratch that movement itch for sure. They offer something different from the usual FPS games coming out, and they focus more on how you move and interact with the world. Let me know in the comments which one caught your attention most, and if you're like me, sometimes all you need is an hour to dive into some single player games and get lost. I want to thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.